cancer was just chasing me. And as long as I could keep moving and keep ahead of it and keep ahead of it and keep ahead of it, then it would be okay for as long as I could keep going. If someone said to you, how do you imagine your life? This would never have been it. You don't expect to have 6 cancers over 20 years. You're not expected to thrive after all of that. I never set out to become a guy that runs marathons. I set out to be a guy that wanted to get better after surgery. I live in pain and discomfort, but there is something about running on mud, stepping over tree trunks, that just makes me feel like I'm doing it for better reasons than just escaping. My name's Jonathan Acott. I'm a 6-time cancer survivor, and this story is about running a marathon on every continent. In 2004, I was diagnosed with testicular cancer that spread to my lymph and my lung. And then in 2007, part of a routine checkup, they found a mass on my chest and then had a lateral thoracotomy to remove that. In 2013, I was diagnosed again. I had an incision from my groin and they literally take all of the organs out. In 2014, my wife and I had our first daughter, Darcy. And I relapsed again in 2016. I had exactly the same surgery because the cancer had spread. And then, whilst we were looking for it, we found a bowel cancer. So yes, I got cancer whilst I had cancer. Stella was born in 2017. In 2018, I relapsed again, and I had a second lot of chemotherapy I've ever had, done for 12 weeks. That stopped working. The tumour became platinum resistant, had my kidney removed, my spleen ruptured during surgery, and that was the last treatment in 2018. The relationship between cancer and surviving didn't change when I had children. What happened was the stakes got higher. So this marathon journey, 6 cancers, 7 continents, started in Berlin. And that's when the idea to run on every continent started to ferment. And so I started looking at other marathons and then realized actually you could go and travel and see the world and have adventures. So I decided to run a marathon on every continent. And it literally was as black and white as that. It was one of those, why don't I do that?
Halfway.
We're in Dubai and let's go run a marathon.
It's been a real slog.
So I go to Antarctica in March. My intention will to become the first 6-time cancer survivor to have run a marathon on every continent. I have an appointment with my oncologist in January. Depending on how I'm feeling, I will push it back until I've finished. Because if something were to be dramatically wrong at that point in time and for Antarctica to not happen, I would be beyond devastated. Cancer and time have the most insane relationship. When you can tell the time by what metal is poisoning you and you can count down the hours by watching the bag empty, then it gives you a real appreciation of time. The drip, drip, drip of your chemotherapy is the only comparison is the sand timer. I can split the 20 years of cancers into 2. First 3, second 3. The first 3, there was a complete absence of authenticity to my life. And I had a mask on. I was pretending everything was okay. If you say, I'm fine, and I'm not asking you, and you say, no, things are good. No, I'm dealing with it well, it's not the end of the world, all that sort of stuff, then you will start to believe that. getting up to go to work every day. Life resumes. You have cancer, but you're okay. You tell yourself you must be okay. You have something trying to kill you, but you're okay. And repeat. And repeat. I'm okay. You're okay. Repeat. I'm okay. It's okay. You're fine. Could be worse. You're okay. And repeat. You're fine. So I take my pills, take my coffees. You're fine. It's I'm okay. Fine. You're fine. Okay. You're okay. You're fine. You're fine. After the third cancer, that's when life started to weigh too heavily on me, and I cracked. So I started ideating suicide. Not because I wanted to be dead, but because I didn't want to go on with this lie that everything was fine, because it was just overwhelming me. The inauthenticity with which I was living my life, that was causing the mental health problems. It wasn't the cancer. It was pretending I was fine, because that's exhausting. Having my two little girls gave me another reason to be mentally clear about what I was doing. It wasn't all on me. That's when the relationship to time started to change. You don't know how long you've got. Why do I run now? I don't know. I don't actually know. Why I started running was because after all my treatments, all my surgeries, my chemotherapies, I started walking. In my head, there's this idea, as long as I'm moving, I'm not dead. I had nothing else. I couldn't go to the gym, I couldn't swim because you got open scars. You can't do any core exercise because you don't have a core. All I could do was to walk. So I walked. 10 meters, 100 meters, 200, 300, building every single day, pushing myself to walk a little bit further. And then after a while, walking became running. I hate running. I fucking hate running. I was never good at it, but it just seemed to be something I now do. I'm now a runner. The running is a vehicle to get me in the fresh air, into the sunshine, into the elements, to make me healthier. It's one time I can actually feel at peace. Someone asked me the other day, do I meditate? I'm like, no, I don't. I couldn't cope with the voices in my head. So I like to have things going on around me all the time. Nature provides me with that stimulus to actually make me step outside myself. The marathon challenge, the 6 cancers, 7 continents challenge, is purely because I want to do it. It's an opportunity for me to do something on a large enough scale that I hope some people can go, do you know what? If he can make the most of himself, I can too. And then I started thinking about which marathons to do, because I wanted ones that were easy and accessible to get to, but would still count as continents. So we've done Berlin and Marrakesh, that's Europe and Africa. And then 2022, we did Austin and Curacao, so that's North and South America. The Curacao Marathon started at 4 a.m, pitch black, a couple of street lights, palm trees. The rain is chucking it down. And I wouldn't have been anywhere else in the world right then. And then I realized that during this running process, actually, I needed to get it done in a relatively short period of time, because if I got ill again and I got halfway through and I died, I would be fuming. Then we did Dubai and Perth, so that's Asia and Australia. And then in March, we're going to finish with Antarctica. The drive has been to be the best dad I can in case I die. I've got these 2 little things in my life that are the best thing that's ever happened to me. My biggest fear in this world is someone else being their daddy. That's the one that will make me cry more than anything else. I didn't know how much I needed to be a dad until I was a dad. The end of 6 cancers, 7 continents project is there. I've been working on this for 5 years. I've been so ill in my life and I've been so tired. And I've worked so hard to get here, now, today. And that's the end there. Thank you to everyone.
Okay, let's try it this way. Are you proud of Daddy?
Yeah.
Yeah? Why?
We are.
Are you?
Yeah.
What are you proud of?
Running
What-
7 continents.
Right, hang on. So what's Daddy got tattooed on his arm?
Focus, not protection. In
Pro-
Darcy's handwriting.
What does that mean? What's important about that?
That you try your hardest and don't be perfect.
There you go. You try your hardest and you
Oh,
don't...
it's a playground.
Yeah.
Yeah, Darcy, it's new.
I'm never, ever, ever going to say I'm happy I had cancer. It's never going to happen. But am I happy with the way I've turned it into an opportunity? Yes. Because despite how shit life has been, am I proud of who I am now? Yes. I don't think that would have happened if I hadn't had the life I have had. The 6 cancers, 7 continents was born out of this idea that cancer is a global disease. 1 in 2 people in their lifetimes will be affected by cancer. But as long as cancer's global, so is surviving. And I suppose as a father, it stands as a lesson to my girls that with a modicum of talent and an awful lot of hard work, you can achieve pretty much anything.